Couples to the gold backdrop. Singles to the silver. I started towards silver. A hand caught my tie. Before I could turn, Helena Cross pulled me backward until my shoulder hit hers. Wrong line. I stared at my CO. Helena was already looking at the photographer. Gold. The photographer smiled. Perfect. Girlfriend? No, I said. Helena said, take the picture. The flash went off. That was how the most feared woman at Northglass Automation publicly dragged me into a couple's photo less than 2 hours after approving my departure from the company. I looked at her hand. She was still holding my tie. You can release the hostage. Helena glanced down as if she had forgotten. Then she loosened her fingers. Your knot was crooked. You pulled me 3 feet. It is straight now. Around us, employees were pretending not to stare. Northglass's annual foundation gala was usually predictable. Donors, speeches, an auction, executives pretending to enjoy string music. This year the event committee had added a photo area. Married couples and dates were taking polished portraits against a gold backdrop while unaccompanied guests used silver. I had been perfectly happy with silver. Apparently Helena had not. The photographer handed us 2 printed copies. I reached for one. Helena took both. Seriously? One is mine. There are 2. Yes. Then one is mine. She considered that, then gave me the worse one. I looked down. In hers, Helena was facing the camera, composed as usual. In mine, she was looking at me. Not accidentally. My stomach tightened. Helena. What? Why did you do that? A server passed with champagne. Helena took 2 glasses, then immediately replaced mine with sparkling water. I had a 7 a.m. calibration review tomorrow and never drank before early test days. She remembered. That did not answer my question. You approved my fellowship request this afternoon, I said. Her expression changed. Barely. There it was. 3 months earlier, I had applied for a 10-month engineering residency at Harbor Point Access Lab in Providence. They paired engineers with wheelchair users, rehabilitation therapists, and public transit agencies to build practical mobility tools outside normal corporate product cycles. I had been selected last week. Northglass had to approve an unpaid professional leave. Helena signed it today. I left in 5 weeks. You knew before the gala. Yes. And suddenly I'm on the couple's side of the room. That is correlation. That is the worst lie you have ever told. I have told better ones. At least she admitted it. Then a man from finance approached. Helena, they need you for the donor photo. She looked toward the stage. Several board members were gathering around a sponsor wall. I'll be there in a minute. The finance director glanced at me, then at the gold backdrop behind us. His eyebrows moved. He wisely said nothing. When he left, I lowered my voice. You do understand this place has 400 employees? Yes. Tomorrow, all 400 will think we came together. No. That confidence is impressive. They will think I pulled you into a photograph. That is somehow worse. Helena's mouth almost smiled. Then a woman in a green dress waved from across the ballroom. Megan Avery from legal. One of my coworkers had tried to set us up twice. Helena saw her. Her expression went completely still. Megan walked toward us. Gavin. You made it. Barely. She smiled at Helena. Miss Cross. Megan. Then Megan looked at my photo. Oh. I knew that. Oh. I put the picture inside my jacket. Don't. I didn't say anything. You were going to. I was going to ask whether Gavin wanted to join our table after dessert. Helena answered before I could. He's sitting with me. I turned. No, I'm not. You are now. Megan looked between us. Then she laughed softly. I'm going to leave before this becomes an HR training example. She walked away. I stared at Helena. That was escalation number 2. I don't know what you mean. You absolutely do. Her eyes followed Megan for 1 second too long. Jealous. The realization hit harder than the tie. Helena Cross did not get jealous. At least not visibly. She had spent 6 years building Northglass into a national industrial automation company and had somehow convinced everyone she considered emotional reactions and inefficient use of oxygen. I had worked beside her often enough to know that wasn't true, but I had never seen this. Were you jealous? No. Megan asked me to sit at her table. I heard. And then you reassigned me. Your table is full. It has an empty chair. Not anymore. I laughed. Helena. Her fingers tightened around the second photo. Then the ballroom screens changed. The gala's charity auction opened. Packages appeared one by one. Weekend cabin. Chef's dinner. Baseball suite. Then, private couples dance lesson, donated by Aurelia Ballroom. I looked away. My phone buzzed. Auction notification. Someone had entered my employee donor number into a joint bid. I opened it. Helena Cross / Gavin Porter, current high bid, $1,500. I slowly looked at her. Helena took one calm sip of water. You did that before the photo? Yes. How long before? Yesterday. The tie had not been impulsive. The table had not been impulsive. She had entered us into a couple's auction before I ever arrived. Why? Helena looked at me. For the first time that night, the Ice Queen had no polished answer ready. Then she said quietly, because next year you won't be here. That was the third escalation. And suddenly the real question was not why Helena had grabbed my tie. It was how long she had been planning for my absence before I even knew she cared. I followed Helena onto the balcony before the first gala speech. You are going to explain the dance lesson. It benefits the foundation. You could donate directly. I did. How much? That is irrelevant. Then why bid on the couple's package? She looked through the glass doors toward the ballroom. Because I wanted it. With me. Yes. At least she had stopped lying. I folded my arms. Do you know how normal people handle this? I assume poorly. They ask someone on a date. Helena looked at me. I cannot. You just spent $1,500 to dance with me. $1,600 now. Someone counterbid. That is not the point. Her jaw tightened. You still report into Northglass. 3 levels below you. You are still an employee. So you decided secret jealousy and public couple photos were more ethical? She winced slightly. Good. That was not my best argument. No. Inside, applause started. Neither of us moved. Then I asked the question that mattered. How long? Helena's eyes returned to mine. How long what? Have you wanted me? Her fingers went to the slim black watch on her wrist. She rotated it inward. I had seen that habit for years whenever she was under pressure. Long enough. That answer is useless. It is the answer you are getting tonight. Old Helena. Controlled. I should have pushed. Instead, I did something that surprised her. I stepped closer. Not touching. Close enough that she had to decide whether to move. She didn't. Fine, I said. Then here's my answer. To what? The couple's auction. Her eyes changed. We are not a couple. I know. You don't get to buy the category before asking the person. A pause. Then Helena nodded. You're right. No argument. That mattered. I'll withdraw the bid. I expected relief. Instead, I disliked the idea immediately. I caught myself. Helena noticed. You don't want me to. That is not what I said. No. Her mouth moved. Tiny victory. I hated that she could read me. Withdraw it. She took out her phone. Then my hand closed over hers. Helena froze. My first deliberate touch. Wait. Her eyes dropped to my hand. Then back up. I had the sudden, absurd awareness that half the ballroom was 10 feet away. Keep the bid, I said. Why? Because if you win, you ask me properly. Her pulse visibly moved at her throat. A date? A dance lesson. That is not the same. Correct. She stared at me. I smiled. Work your way up. For the first time that night, Helena laughed. One short, quiet sound. Then she immediately looked annoyed with herself. I liked it too much. The auction closed 40 minutes later. Helena won $2,100. I discovered this while sitting beside her at the CEO table, exactly where she had claimed I would be. No one commented on the seating change until board member Arthur Penn looked at my place card. Gavin Porter? Yes. I thought Marcus Heller was seated here. Helena cut into her dinner. He moved. Arthur looked at her. Why? Helena looked at me. No corporate explanation. No seating logistics. I wanted Gavin here. Arthur raised his eyebrows. I nearly dropped my fork. That was the first public preference. Not romantic enough to trigger governance. More than enough to make 3 executives look suddenly fascinated by their plates. Under the table, my knee brushed Helena's. She did not move away. Neither did I. 3 hours earlier, she had been my distant CEO. Now everyone at the table knew she had personally rearranged seating to keep me beside her. That should have made me uncomfortable. Instead, I was trying not to smile. Then Arthur asked the question that changed the mood. I heard you're leaving us, Gavin. Helena's hand stopped. Temporary fellowship, I said. Providence? Yes. 10 months? That's the term. Arthur nodded. Those things turn permanent more often than not. I saw Helena's watch rotate inward beneath the table. Maybe, I said. Her eyes snapped toward me. Arthur continued talking about research programs. I barely heard him. Helena did not either. When dinner ended, she caught my sleeve. Maybe? There may be a permanent role. You didn't tell me. I learned yesterday. What role? Program lead. How permanent? That is usually how permanent works. She did not appreciate the joke. Do you want it? I haven't done the fellowship yet. That was not my question. No. She leaned closer. Do you want the option? That was different. Yes. The answer hurt her. She hit it badly. Good. Not because I wanted her hurt. Because 4 years of whatever she had been hiding were finally visible. Music started inside the ballroom. Couples moved toward the dance floor. Helena looked through the doors. Then at me. Your auction package begins next Thursday. You already scheduled it? No. A pause. Yes. I laughed. You are terrible at this. I know. Then she said, softer, Gavin. What? If Providence offers you permanent, I will not interfere. That mattered. Then she ruined the dignity by adding, I will, however, hate Rhode Island personally. I smiled. Aloud. She looked at my tie. Her hand lifted. Stopped before touching it. This time, she asked, May I? I should have made her suffer. Instead I said, yeah. Helena straightened my tie gently. No pulling. No audience trick. When she finished, her fingers stayed near the knot for 1 second longer than necessary. Better, she whispered. The relationship had already changed again. And we had not even gone on a date. Helena's dance lesson lasted 12 minutes before the instructor told her to stop leading. I am not leading. You absolutely are, I said. She looked at me. The instructor, a woman named Maribel, pointed between us. He steps forward, you step back. Helena's expression suggested this system was structurally unsound. Why? Because he's leading. I understand the mechanics. You're fighting them. Helena looked at me. I smiled. Story of your life? Careful. We had waited until after work. No company car. No assistants. No one from North Glass. For the first time, I was spending time with Helena in a room where she had no authority over anyone. She hated being bad at something. I enjoyed every second. On our 4th attempt, she finally stopped anticipating my movement. I stepped forward. She stepped back. Her hand rested in mine. My other hand was at her waist. And suddenly the joke disappeared. Helena was close. Really close. Her eyes met mine. The room around us became less relevant. Maribel said, there. That. Helena immediately stepped away. Break. I laughed. You panicked. I am warm. It's 68 degrees. You are irritating. We got water. Helena stood beside me, rotating her watch inward. I touched the edge lightly. What does that mean? She looked down. What? You turn it when you're nervous. I don't get nervous. Dance instructor said otherwise. Her eyes narrowed. Then she surprised me. My father gave me this watch when I became CEO. I waited. He told me if I ever felt uncertain in a meeting, turn the face inward. Why? So I would stop checking time. That's it? He believed impatience made people reveal what they were afraid of. I smiled. That sounds useful. It was. You kept the habit. Yes. But now you do it when you're nervous around me. Helena's gaze sharpened. I dislike how observant you are. That is literally my job. She looked at the watch. Then deliberately turned it face outward. Better? Not really. Now I know you're pretending not to be nervous. Her laugh came faster this time. Progress. We returned to the floor. 20 minutes later, she was following without fighting every step. Then Maribel changed the exercise. Closer frame. Helena stopped. How close? Maribel physically moved my hand higher on Helena's back and guided Helena's shoulder nearer mine. Like that. My pulse jumped. Helena's did too. This time she did not step away. We moved. Slowly. No gala crowd. No cameras. No CEO performance. Halfway across the floor, Helena whispered, I started liking you during the Fremont shutdown. That came out of nowhere. What? You asked how long. I nearly lost the step. Now, you wanted an answer. Yes. I expected one before retirement. Her hand tightened slightly around mine. Fremont had been 3 years earlier. A North Glass distribution facility lost power during a winter equipment failure. Backup systems kept critical climate-controlled inventory safe, but 40 employees were stranded until roads cleared. Helena flew in. So did I. What happened in Fremont? You argued with me. That does not narrow it down. You refused to restart the automated racks. I remembered. The power was technically stable. The warehouse manager wanted output immediately. I noticed 2 exhausted technicians were still manually resetting sensors. I said no restart until the crew rotated. Helena initially pushed back. I told her equipment could wait 10 minutes longer than people who had been awake 18 hours. You were furious. Yes. You agreed. Yes. That made you fall for me? No. Her gaze stayed on mine. What happened after? Memory returned. One technician, Sean, had fallen asleep in the break room. I covered his final inspection because he was too tired. Nothing heroic. Just obvious. Helena said quietly, "You never told anyone." Why would I? You also refused overtime credit because you said you had already been paid to be there. That sounds less intelligent now. It told me something. What? You did not need an audience to become reliable. That hit harder than flattery about engineering ever could. Helena continued. Every executive around me could perform loyalty when I was watching. You were useful when no one important was in the room. There it was. Why me? Not attraction. Not proximity. Respect. We reached the end of the floor. I did not let go. Neither did she. 3 years, I said. Yes. And you did nothing. You worked for me. I know. I also assumed you were dating Julia. I blinked. My sister? Helena stopped dancing. That was your sister? I stared. Then laughed so hard Maribel looked over. Helena's face went cold. You brought her to the summer picnic. She was visiting. She held your arm. She had sprained her ankle. You never said sister. Nobody asked. For 3 years, the Ice Queen CEO had apparently believed my younger sister was competition. I laughed harder. Helena tried to walk away. I caught her hand. That stopped both of us. She looked down at our joined fingers. Then up. Don't what? Laugh. You sabotaged your own love life because of my sister. I did not sabotage anything. You avoided me. Professionally. Because Julia held my arm. Her cheeks had actually colored. That was a new emotional reward I had not expected. I stepped closer. Helena. What? You could have asked. I am learning. Then, because the moment was already there and I refused to drag it out, I leaned in. Not kissing. Close enough to make the question obvious. May I? Helena stopped breathing. Then nodded. Our first kiss lasted maybe 5 seconds. No fireworks. No music swelling. Just Helena's hand tightening around mine and the woman who had grabbed my tie in front of 300 people becoming suddenly careful when there was nobody to impress. When I pulled back, she looked stunned. Still hate Providence? I asked. Yes. I smiled. Now we had a new problem. We were no longer merely pretending the gala meant something. It actually did. The photo leaked Monday morning. Not to the press. Worse. The company intranet. The gala team uploaded hundreds of pictures to a shared album. Ours appeared near the top. Helena holding my tie. My body angled toward hers. Both of us standing in front of the gold couple's backdrop. By 9:15, 3 people had sent it to me. By 9:30, HR asked whether we needed to disclose a relationship. I told them the truth. We kissed after the gala. Off-site. We are not currently in a formal relationship. The HR director stared. That distinction may not survive employee gossip. Probably not. Then Helena entered. No assistant. No lawyer. She sat beside me. I requested this meeting. HR nodded. I know. Helena placed one document on the table. A governance disclosure. She had signed it the morning after the gala. Before our dance lesson. Before the kiss. It transferred all authority over my leave, final performance review, bonus, and any future Northglass employment decision away from her. I looked at the date. You did this before we kissed. Yes. Why? She looked at me. Because the gala was not an accident. That was the first reversal. I had assumed she broke character because my fellowship made losing me suddenly real. That was only half of it. She had decided before grabbing my tie that she was done pretending. HR asked, "Do you intend to pursue a personal relationship?" Helena said, "Yes." I looked at her. She did not look away. No ambiguity. No 40-minute delay. My pulse jumped. The HR director turned to me. "Gavin?" Everyone waited. I could have hidden behind policy. Instead I said, "Yes." Helena's composure almost broke. One word. That was all it took. Relationship stage upgraded. The director nodded. Then until his leave begins, you cannot supervise any employment decision involving him. I already removed myself. And you should avoid conduct that could look coercive. Helena glanced at me. I smiled. No more tie pulling at work. Her mouth tightened. Understood. When we left HR, she caught my wrist. Not hard. Enough to stop me. Say it again. What? Yes. I laughed. We are in an office hallway. I know. You want me to repeat my HR declaration? I want to know whether you meant it. I looked at her. That was the vulnerable question beneath everything. Yeah. Her fingers loosened around my wrist. I meant it. A small breath left her. Then she nodded. Good. We had officially acknowledged something before the story was halfway over, which meant we needed a bigger question than whether Helena liked me. Providence supplied it that afternoon. Harbor Point called. They wanted to expand my residency. Not in length. In responsibility. The project I had originally joined would place me inside a transit accessibility team. Now their program director wanted me to lead a new rapid prototyping group. If it worked, Harbor Point intended to make the group permanent. That was exactly the kind of job I could imagine taking after 10 months. I told Helena that evening. We were eating takeout on the benches outside Northglass because neither of us wanted another formal restaurant. She stopped with her fork halfway to her mouth. Permanent. Potentially. You want it. I want to see if I'm good at it. That is not what I asked. I smiled. You are getting better at questions. Gavin. Yes. I want the possibility. She set down the container. I waited for the Ice Queen to build an argument. Salary. Career path. Northglass resources. Maybe a new role. She did none of it. Instead, I approved your leave before the gala. I know. I could have asked the board to deny it. My face cooled. You could? Yes. Would they have? Possibly. The timing is bad for the Atlas launch. That irritated me. Then Helena said, I told them to approve it. I stopped. The board wanted to delay me? 2 directors did. You argued against them? Yes. When? 3 days before the gala. Before she pulled my tie. Before she declared anything. She had protected my ability to leave while privately hating the idea. That was the second reversal. You could have kept me here. Probably. Why didn't you? Helena looked at the food in her lap. Because if I made you stay before I told you how I felt, I would never know whether you chose me or simply lost the exit. That sentence settled somewhere deep. The woman I had started thinking of as possessive had drawn the line before I knew there was one. She could want me desperately. She still wanted my yes to mean yes. I leaned toward her. Come here. What? I kissed her. No question this time because the first answer still stood. Helena's hand immediately caught my tie. I pulled back just enough to look at it. No workplace coercion. We are outside. Excellent legal analysis. She kissed me again. Then my phone buzzed. Harbor Point. A message. If the permanent unit is funded, would you be open to remaining in Providence? Helena saw the screen. Her fingers slowly released my tie. The relationship problem had changed. She no longer needed to prove she wanted me. Now we had to find out whether wanting each other survived a future neither of us could control. Helena became worse after we admitted we were dating. Not dangerous worse. Embarrassing worse. She brought me coffee Tuesday morning. That alone caused 2 engineers to stare. Helena did not bring people coffee. She barely brought herself coffee. Mine had 1 sugar. Correct. Thank you. She nodded. Then noticed senior designer Audrey Lane leaning over my monitor. Helena stopped. Audrey did not notice. Gavin, if we change the bracket angle here, move the load point. Exactly. Helena stood beside us. Silent. Audrey finally looked up. Oh. Morning. Morning. Audrey went back to the screen. Helena remained. I waited. Nothing. Finally I said, did you need something? No. Audrey looked between us. Then smiled. I'm going to get coffee. She already has coffee, Helena said. Audrey left anyway. I turned. You scared her away. I stood here. You stood here possessively. That is not measurable. It is extremely measurable. Helena looked at Audrey's empty chair. She was close. To the monitor. To you. Jealous? No. I smiled. Her watch rotated inward. Yes. There it was. Another relationship reward. Not hidden. Good. Her eyes narrowed. You like that? A little. That is immature. You grabbed my tie. She had no answer. That night we had our first actual argument. Not about jealousy. About Providence. Helena sent me a spreadsheet. I called immediately. What is this? Flight schedules. You made a long-distance model. It includes Philadelphia connections, non-stop options, and seasonal frequency. You modeled my fellowship like supply chain risk. That is insulting. There are probability columns. Delays matter. I laughed, then noticed a second sheet. Possible dates. Every weekend for 10 months. My amusement disappeared. Helena. What? You cannot schedule the whole relationship. I did not. You color-coded visits. Green is likely. I know what green means. Silence. Then I said, this is exactly what worries me. What? You hate uncertainty, so you turn it into a plan. That is responsible. Not when the plan includes my time before I agree. She went quiet. I kept going. If I'm in Providence, I'll have new work, new people, maybe weekend field sessions. You cannot decide in advance that every open Saturday belongs to us. Her voice cooled. I was making options. You were making expectations. Long silence. Then, you're right. That came faster than expected. I hate when you do that. Do what? Improve before I finish being angry. Her voice softened. I can resend it without dates. No spreadsheet. Cruel. Try asking week by week. I dislike week by week. I know, but I can do it. That mattered more than romance would have. Then Helena asked, what are you afraid of? I almost gave her a safe answer. Instead, that you'll build the relationship so efficiently I won't notice when I stop choosing pieces of it. Silence. Painful. Necessary. Then she said, what do you want me to do when it happens? Ask. One word? Usually. She exhaled. Fine. A pause. Can I see you Saturday? I smiled. Yes. Can I see you Sunday? Greedy. Yes. Also yes. That was how we built it. Not perfect. Chosen. Saturday brought the third reversal. Helena took me to a small industrial workshop on the west side. No sign. No company logo. Inside were old mechanical assemblies, broken gearboxes, and half-restored equipment. I looked at her. What is this? My father's. I knew Helena's father had founded a machine repair company before she built Northglass. I did not know this workshop still existed. He died when I was 21, she said. No long trauma speech. Just fact. She walked to a workbench. On it sat a burned-out servo motor. You recognize it? I did. An old Northglass prototype. First-generation indexing drive. Why is it here? Because this is where I learned to rebuild them. You? Yes. I laughed. You make vice presidents afraid to use screwdrivers. They use them badly. Fair. Helena picked up a wrench. Her hands knew exactly what to do. Then she said, this is where I first heard your name. I stopped. When? Before Fremont. That changed everything. She opened a drawer and pulled out an old service report. My name was on it. 2 years before Fremont, I had been a junior reliability engineer sent to a customer site after one of our early drive units failed. I had recommended replacing a whole gearbox design. Management initially rejected it. I had forgotten the report. My father read this, Helena said. He knew who I was. He called you the annoying kid who refused the easy fix. I smiled. That sounds fair. He told me to watch engineers who made expensive recommendations before they knew executives were watching. I looked at her. So you noticed me before Fremont? Yes. Like me? No. Her mouth moved. I thought you were irritating. Good. Fremont changed that. Better. She handed me the report. Her feelings had not appeared out of nowhere. And they had not started because I was useful to her personally. She had watched my choices long before I realized she was watching. That made what came next harder. I'm going to Providence, I said. Helena's hand stopped on the servo motor. I know. And if they offer permanent, I may stay. Her jaw tightened. I know. I stepped closer. Still want this? Helena looked at me. Yes. No hesitation. That was the answer. My last 3 weeks at Northglass became unexpectedly sweet. Not because Helena became softer at work. She didn't. She rejected 2 budget requests before breakfast one Tuesday and made a vendor redo an entire safety review because their numbers did not reconcile. Then she walked past my desk and quietly left a sandwich because I had skipped lunch. No note. No performance. Everyone noticed anyway. By week 2, people stopped pretending we were a secret. I liked that Helena did not overcorrect. She did not suddenly praise me in meetings. Did not assign me visible projects. did not invite me into executive rooms. When I disagreed with her, she still argued. Sometimes I lost. That was reassuring. Then came the Atlas launch review. Atlas was Northglass's largest automated handling platform. I had designed part of the fault isolation system. During final validation, junior engineer Elena Cho discovered a rare sensor lag condition that could cause a 4-second restart delay. 4 seconds was not dangerous. It could still create product damage. The commercial team wanted to document it for a later software patch. I disagreed. We fixed before launch. The commercial director looked toward Helena. She did not answer. He tried again. Helena? She said, Gavin owns reliability recommendation until his final day. Every eye turned to me. No rescue. Authority I already had. My call. We hold. The launch moved 4 days. Expensive. Correct. 2 days later, Elena found the clean fix. At the final review, the commercial director said, Good catch, Gavin. I pointed to Elena. Hers. Helena looked at me. That look. The one from Fremont, probably. Respect before romance. After the meeting she found me alone near the elevators. You do that every time. What? Move credit toward whoever actually earned it. Basic math. No. She touched my tie. Not pulling. Just smoothing the fabric. It is why people trust you. I looked at her. And why you do? Yes. Then she kissed my cheek. At work. Quick. Public enough that 2 people exiting the conference room saw. Helena did not flinch. That was another escalation. 3 months earlier, she had believed visible affection could compromise authority. Now she was learning disclosure was cleaner than concealment. Then the board tested it. Arthur Penn asked Helena to speak privately after the delayed launch. She told me later. He was worried investors would frame my departure as evidence Northglass could not retain senior technical talent. His proposed solution was simple. Offer me vice president of reliability. Huge raise. New team. Direct influence. Everything I had complained Northglass lacked. Helena refused to make the offer. I stared when she told me. You refused? Yes. You did not even ask me? No. I felt irritation rise. Then she said, because it was a retention offer created after you chose another life. I stopped. I told Arthur he could build the role if Northglass needs it, but he cannot design it around you and use me to sell it. That was exactly right. And if I wanted it, you can apply when it exists. Clean. No special lane. You really have gotten annoying about ethics. You started it. I smiled. Then she added, Arthur thinks I am irrational. Because you won't keep me? Yes. How does that feel? Terrible. I laughed. She didn't. Gavin. What? I could give you almost everything Harbor Point is offering. I know. That is what makes this difficult. She stepped closer. I cannot compete by offering more power. If you stay because my offer is larger, I will spend the next 10 years wondering whether you chose the life or the package. There was the high-status woman choosing not to use status as leverage. That was worth more to me than the title. I touched her face. You know what I need before I leave? What? A picture. Her eyes narrowed. We already have one. Not that one. Friday evening, we went back to Aurelia Ballroom. Maribel recognized us immediately. CEO finally learning to follow? Marginally, I said. Helena glared. After the lesson, I asked Maribel to take a photo. No gold couples backdrop. No gala. Just Helena and me on an empty dance floor. This time I reached for her first. Not her tie. Her hand. She stepped close without pulling anything. The flash went off. Helena looked at the picture. Then at me. Better? Much. She slid it into her purse beside the gala photo. 2 versions of us. The first one she claimed before asking. The second one we chose together. My final day at Northglass ended at 4:58. I did that intentionally. At 5, my badge expired. At 5:01, Helena appeared beside the security gate. No dramatic crowd. No farewell speech. Just Helena in a dark gray dress, her watch face turned outward. I held up my dead badge. Official. She nodded. Good. You sound happy. I am not. Honest. Yes. My suitcase was already at home. Flight to Providence tomorrow morning. 10 months. Maybe longer. We walked outside. Helena did not take my arm. Did not grab my tie. She waited. I reached for her hand. The relief on her face was small. I still saw it. Dinner? She asked. Yes. Your choice. Dangerous. I'm growing. We went to a diner near my apartment. No reservations. Helena looked offended by laminated menus. I loved it. Halfway through dinner, my phone rang. Harbor Point. Program director. I answered. We got the funding. I sat straighter. For the permanent unit? Yes. Helena's hand went still around her coffee. The director continued. The position won't be formally posted for another 6 months, but we want you to help build the structure during the residency. That's great. And Gavin? Yeah. If you like the work, I want you to apply. Not an offer. Correct process. A real future. I will. When I ended the call, Helena looked at me. Apply? If I still want it. She nodded. Nothing else. I waited. That was all. Say what you're thinking. No. We have moved past that. She looked toward the window. Then, I want to ask you not to apply. There. And? I won't. Why? Because I love you. My heart stopped. Not the final 5%. Not at a proposal. Right here. Before departure. Before certainty. Helena's voice stayed quiet. I love you enough to want the life that keeps you near me. She looked back at me. And enough to know that if I make proximity the price of loving me, eventually you will hate the arrangement. I did not speak. She continued. I don't know how 10 months works. Neither do I. I don't know how Providence works. Mostly with roads. Gavin. I smiled. Then leaned across the table. I love you too. Helena froze. Exactly as I hoped. What? You heard. Say it again. You are very demanding. Gavin. I love you. Her eyes closed briefly. When they opened, the Ice Queen was gone. Not permanently. Just for me. She reached across the table and took my hand. No tie. No joke. No public performance. Then apply if you want it. I squeezed her fingers. Okay. And if you get it, you'll hate Rhode Island. Deeply. I laughed. The next morning Helena drove me to the airport. She refused to let a driver do it. At the departure's curb, she stood beside my suitcase. No tears. Almost. Text when you land. Yes. Not because I'm controlling. Of course. Because airlines lose people. They mostly lose luggage. That is not comforting. I smiled. Then noticed her hand. Watch face inward. Nervous? Yes. First time she answered without pretending. I touched the watch and turned it outward. 10 months. That sounds long. It is. I already checked flight schedules. No spreadsheet. I know. You made one? I deleted it. That might have been love. I kissed her. Then picked up my suitcase. Helena caught my tie. My body turned back. Her eyes widened. She had done it automatically. I looked at her hand. She slowly released it. Sorry. I smiled. Then took her hand and put it back on the tie. One last time. Helena pulled me close. Kissed me hard. A family passing behind us looked away politely. When she let go, she whispered, Come back. Not an order. Not a demand. A hope. I will. To me? I looked at her. Yes. That was the answer she needed. Not where I would work. Not which city. Her. Providence changed my career faster than I expected. Harbor Point put engineers and wheelchair users in the same room from day one. No polished presentation between them. No commercial team translating what people meant. On my second week, a transit rider named Desmond rejected the mounting bracket I had designed for a bus ramp sensor. Too hard to reach. I almost explained the leverage. Then stopped. Show me. He did. I redesigned it. Simple. That became the rhythm. Ask. Build. Fail. Ask again. Helena and I found our own rhythm too. Not the spreadsheet version. Some weekends she came east. Some weekends I flew west. Some weekends neither of us moved. She hated those most. So did I. But we did not turn missing each other into proof something was broken. 2 months in, Helena called while I was testing a folding support rail. Dinner Friday? I'm running a user session until 8. Saturday? Free. Can I come? Yes. She paused. Can I stay until Monday morning? I smiled. Yes. Every ask mattered. 3 months in, she stopped asking whether any women were on my team. Progress. 4 months in, she met Desmond, who told her, Gavin listens too slowly. Helena looked delighted. I have been saying this. That is not what he meant. 6 months in, the permanent program leave role opened. I applied. Helena knew before I submitted. She did not help. Did not call anyone. Did not ask for updates until I volunteered them. Harbor Point interviewed 5 candidates. I made the final 2. The other candidate had more research experience. I had more field systems experience. I did not know how it would go. Then Northglass announced a new vice president of reliability role. Not for me. Open competition. Built from lessons the company learned after I left. Arthur called. You should apply. I thought about it. Seriously. For one day. Then declined. Not because Helena was in Chicago. Not because Providence was better in every way. Because I wanted the work I was doing now. That was the clearest decision of the whole story. Helena's reaction? Good. I laughed. You're not supposed to be relieved. I am evolving, not becoming a saint. Fair. 2 weeks later, Harbor Point offered me the permanent position. I called Helena first. I got it. Silence. Then. I knew you would. That is not how competitive hiring works. I remained confident. You okay? No. Honest. Come this weekend. I already booked a flight. Before the offer, I had contingency plans. Spreadsheet? No. Helena. A small table. I laughed. She arrived Friday night. No dramatic sacrifice. No announcement she was moving Northglass. No stupid promise that distance would never matter. We ate takeout on the floor of my apartment because my table had not arrived. Helena handed me a flat envelope. Inside was the original Gala photo. Gold backdrop. Her fingers on my tie. Me looking surprised. She had written one date on the back. Nothing else. I looked up. Why bring this? Because I was wrong about something. What? That night I thought if I pulled you close before you left, I would feel less afraid. She touched the edge of the picture. It did not work. No. Keeping you close physically never solved the actual problem. What did? Helena looked at me. Knowing you would choose me even when your work did not. That was the final truth. I reached behind me and picked up the second photo. The dance floor one. I had framed it after arriving in Providence. Helena noticed. You framed it. Yes. Not the Gala one. No. Why? That one was your choice. I pointed at the dance floor picture. This one was ours. Her eyes softened. Then I reached into the kitchen drawer and pulled out something else. A black tie. Not the Gala tie. Ew. Helena frowned. What? I put it on. Badly. Intentionally. The knot sat crooked. Helena stared. You did that on purpose. Maybe. She stood. Walked toward me. Her hand lifted. Then stopped. May I? I smiled. Yes. Helena took the tie. Straightened it. No pulling. I caught her wrist before she finished. Her eyebrows lifted. Then I gently tugged her closer instead. Role reversed. Helena laughed. What are you doing? Correcting history. I kissed her. When we separated, I kept her close. I'm staying in Providence. I know. You're staying in Chicago. Yes. Northglass matters to you. Yes. Harbor Point matters to me. Yes. I smiled. And somehow we still ended up on the couple's side. Helena's expression changed. Warm. Certain. Obviously. The following month, Northglass held another foundation event. Smaller than the Gala. I flew in. At the entrance, the same photography company had set up 2 backdrops. Gold. Silver. A young photographer waved. Couples on gold. Singles on silver. Helena looked at me. She did not move. Did not grab my tie. Waited. I took her hand. Led her toward gold. The smile she gave me was worth every flight delay between Rhode Island and Illinois. The photographer positioned us. Closer. Helena looked amused. I pulled her in. Not because she claimed me. Not because a camera needed it. Because I wanted her there. The flash fired. Then the photographer checked the screen. Great shot. Helena reached for the print. I stopped her. One each. She narrowed her eyes. You still remember that? Yes. This time, she handed me the better one. In it, Helena was looking at the camera. I was looking at her. She noticed. You ruined the photo. No. I slid it into my jacket. I fixed it. Helena caught my tie. Gently. Possessive, I said. Yes. Still? Always. Then she pulled me close enough to whisper where only I could hear. Next year, gold again? I smiled. Ask me next year. Her eyes narrowed. Then she laughed and kissed me before the photographer could tell us to pose. And this time, when everyone saw the picture, neither of us needed to explain what we were. That's all for today. Remember to subscribe and support us.